Oh, we're on the paper. Dang, it's not right.
Yo, what's up? How y'all doing? How everybody doing tonight?
I'm good.
All right, but
Yeah.
I'm great.
So,
all right.
I'm great now.
Great now, huh?
Yeah. California.
Yeah. Right?
straight up, man. Well, you know what? Beautiful people, this is a new installment. Tonight, I want to welcome everybody to another installment of the CTN podcast panel discussion. We do this live every Thursday, 7 p.m. We're a little late today, but it's all good.
It's all good. We made it.
Right,
Yeah,
facts.
we did.
Hit that like button, subscribe button, leave us a comment, talk to us in the chat. We talk back. So this episode tonight is called Conflicts in a Relationship. But again, I want to ask everybody, how everybody doing though?
I'm good.
Blessed.
Definitely blessed. Absolutely.
Camera in the building. I see my boy Taz in the building. My sister Butter Yasmin in the building. Yeah. So let's go ahead and discuss, some indicators that can lead to conflict in the relationship and figure out some ways to build comfortable lifestyles as couples, to minimize conflicts in a relationship. So Kimra,
yes,
what do you think creates conflict in a relationship?
There's a few things. How many can I list?
Man, go ahead. Let's go. We
Okay,
so
Look, give us your top 3.
Yeah, I'm like, how much you gonna list? I'm like, damn, you got a long list.
That's fair. Okay, so I'm gonna say lack of communication.
Okay.
Lack of boundaries and expectations.
Bam, that's number one for me.
Wait, which one, Taz? Which one is number one for you?
Expectations. Oh my expectations. Oh my God. Damn.
Those are my disclaimers every time I get into a situationship.
So communication, boundaries, and expectations.
Yeah.
Expectations.
Okay.
Don't have any expectations. Don't do it.
Hey,
well, see, that's not. You should have some expectations, but not just the ones that some people put on people, though.
Yeah.
Like I've had expectations that I was going to be like this. I don't know what I was supposed to be with this one girl relationship, man, and it was just like I don't even know who that person is you're describing.
That's how I feel about it.
Like I don't even move like that.
I think it turns into falling in love with a person's potential and not realizing, what you can actually expect from them, right? Because, I'd be like, oh, he's a great artist or he's a great writer. Doesn't want to do it.
Your idea of that person instead of the person themselves. You created this idea of the person of what you want them to be, and then when they don't fill that expectation you had, then you get all booty tickled about it.
Booty tickled, bum hurt.
Like, for real, like really bum hurt. I think we should all have one expectation of everyone, and that's to just be themselves, be human. Yes. You're going to fuck up, you're going to mess up, you're going to level up, you're going to leave, you're going to something. You know what I'm saying? So just expect people to be people. And I think if you just rest in that, we are capable of doing the worst shit on the planet. History has revealed that. So to expect anything less or greater than, that's really on you. I mean, you can believe in a person. Yes, they have potential. Yes, they may promise you the world and all that kind of stuff. But in reality, sometimes you just got to pause and just let people be who they be and accept them for who they are or
don't. And stop trying to make it seem something that it's not. For sure.
Definitely. I can see that. Communication would be a big deal too. If
I
you're,
think
I mean, because
communication.
how do you resolve a conflict without proper communication?
You can't.
I mean, honestly, you can avoid the conflict
Mm-hmm.
because there's also nonverbal communication. That
Oh
nonverbal
yeah, passive
communication is
aggressive.
it's just the action. Actions speak louder than words.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have an expectation in somebody in your relationship, and you can visually see what this individual is doing. They're moving how they want to move, despite what they say. They're doing exactly what they want to do. I can sit here and say, yes, I want spinach, but I get the spinach and I don't eat it, then that means I really didn't want it. I can sit here and promise you the world, and if I'm not moving towards any levels or steps of those promises, then I'm just talking. I'm just telling you some shit. You know what I'm saying? They say it's gonna rain tomorrow. If the sun come out, then
Right. Yeah,
you know.
I could see that. I could see that.
Twyla Robinson giving us props. She's saying hello, everybody.
Hey.
Hi, Twyla.
Hello.
So yeah,
And
go
Raider
ahead. No.
Nation Unlimited featuring Wasted. Tell him
Yeah,
what's up.
that's my brother. That's my brother, man. That's my brother. You know what I'm saying? Wasted in the building. Also, you know what I'm saying? My brother Robbie's on here, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, boy. Wait, what's happening? What's happening, bruh?
Okay, hello.
Hey.
So yeah, okay. So communication is definitely vital. Which
That's actually crucial.
That's my biggest downfall. I ain't even gonna lie to you right now. Like, I'm not the best communicator because I'm not used to having to communicate or have to tell somebody what I'm doing or what I'm thinking about doing. You know, because I was gone for a while, so my communication skills were like non-existent because I didn't tell nobody what I was going to do. I had to move how I had to move. So for me, that's gonna be the biggest challenge for me because I have to learn how I got to talk to this person, not just like be with this person or be around this person because they don't know exactly what I'm thinking. So,
And you know what? That's fair. And I feel like personally, I would be okay with that as long as like you went into the situation acknowledging that. Like just be, hey, look, I'm not that great at communication. You're gonna have to work with me. You might have to pull it out of me sometimes if I'm distant or if I say the wrong things. It's not intentional. It's just I'm working on myself and I'm trying to figure out how to communicate effectively, right?
But that's an expectation because you're expecting him to know how to verbalize that, and he just said that he's not a person that communicates. So you're expecting someone that
But he acknowledged it, so he knows he's not good at it.
Because he's looking back.
Yeah, because like I just said it, like I said it, but not with her words, but I kind of like said what she said. You know what I mean? Like, it's. But I'm upfront about it in the beginning. I tell them from the beginning, you might not want to deal with me because I'm telling you right now, I have a lot of these.
Okay, but then let me say this though. So with saying that, that's fair, right? I'm saying I'm not the best communicator. So then how would you think a person should communicate with you? Writing a letter?
Nah. They can talk to me how they can communicate. I might not say something at that moment. You know, it might take me a minute to mull over and think about what they're saying to me because I can't just answer a person just right away. Like, I need to know why they're saying this to me, where I'm feeling, why they're feeling the way why they're feeling the way that they are to have to say it to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm
right. So you're taking the time to process it, which is fine. But then,
if they can understand it, if they can understand that, it's fine. But if not, then I don't know what to tell them.
Ooh.
I'm not saying it.
Okay. you don't know what to tell them.
No, not like that. But like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what to tell them. I've said what I said. I told you my truth. Now, if you can't give that, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I gave you my truth. I gave you who I am, what I am right now in this moment.
I mean, I can understand. Okay, taking some time to say, okay, let me give that some thought, or let me think about what you just said. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Because sometimes you can make a harsh reaction or a harsh decision, a quick decision, and it's not going to be the outcome that you wanted because you didn't take the time to think about it. So it's like a small conflict can turn into something bigger than what it was.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're
instead of being thoughtful about your response, right?
Or taking the time to say, okay, yeah, all right, I'll give that some thought. Because if there is a conflict, and conflicts do happen in relationships, some people could just say, F it, I don't want to deal with this no more.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's done.
Oh, somebody in the
No,
comments
go
said also understanding everyone's love language is different. So some people need the verbal communication to feel reassured. Others may have different needs. So that's why I asked if you are upfront going forward with your lack of communication skills, because then you give that person a chance to decide, do they want to pursue something with you, because that person
Right.
may need that vocal communication, that
Mhm.
reassurance. Because
Absolutely.
you
Yeah,
know,
Man
and if
or
they
yeah,
were
yeah.
woman.
mature enough, they would understand, like, okay, he's not it for me.
Yeah, from Jump Street. Yeah, from Jump Street, I come out and I let them know. You know, like check it out.
Mhm.
I've been gone for a while, so I never really had real relationships as far as it goes. So I'm not used to communicating or telling somebody what I'm feeling or telling somebody what I'm doing. I'm not used to that at all. So you
Mhm.
gotta bear with me. If you could, it's good. If not, I mean,
So
Yeah.
I'm
if you
telling you
can come
this.
off top and tell them that you're not good at communication, then why, when you need those moments to process and step away and ponder, can you not communicate, hey, I need a minute, I'll get back to you when I'm over this?
Oh, I do, but I don't. I don't. I'm saying I'm not easy. It's not easy for me to tell somebody how I'm feeling right away. So
Yeah,
I
but I
sit
don't
back and
think,
think
I
about it.
mean,
I
if
tell
you're
them,
giving those disclaimers, I don't really think that that's poor communication.
if there's poor communication.
Because most people who don't give those disclaimers, if they're poor communicators, they just don't say anything, or
Oh,
they
they're not
just
going to
shut
say
down
anything.
or something
That's
like
exactly
that.
what they'll
Now
do.
that's poor communication, or
Yep.
they, it's like they just drop off. But if you're saying that you give disclaimers, that you're not the greatest communicator, and then you even tell them, hey, I need a moment to just chill and fall back for a little bit, that's exceptional communication. That's kind of what some people want,
Oh,
instead
well,
of
then
just
I'm a good
saying,
communicator then.
Absolutely.
Kudos. So progress,
Right.
love,
yeah,
Absolutely.
All
progress.
right, all
Exactly.
right,
yeah.
Because if
all
you can,
right.
you could take the time to whatever it is. If we're talking about finances, right? Because finances will turn into a conflict. If we can sit
Yeah.
down and talk about it and
Yeah.
come up with the solution, you're already ahead of the game. But if you're just
Oh,
leaving it alone and saying, I'm not going to talk about this, like in the discussion, oh, the
yeah.
conflict's going to get worse.
Yeah.
Then I guess I'm a great
Off
Fair
top,
enough.
communicator.
man or
But hey,
woman.
but look, you can't
Right.
y'all can't expect a person to understand what you're talking about. Not everybody understanding what you're saying, know what you're saying. You can't say, oh, the man know what he doing or the girl know what she doing. That's not fair to that person. You get what I'm saying? Like what you're saying is real.
Yeah.
But you
You know,
can't expect a
also,
man to know or just understand what you're saying. You can't. It's
No,
not
nobody's
fair.
a mind reader. Nobody's a mind reader. Nobody expects
It's
anybody to be a
not
mind
fair
reader.
to that man if he wasn't taught. That's fair. Now if he was
that is
taught, you can
fair.
say that. If he wasn't taught, like he you know, I got shows. You go about y'all come on my show. I'll tell y'all.
This is the
You don't
homie
gotta
Robbie,
tell
man.
me. I'm a
Hi.
man. He a man. You don't gotta tell this man the host. You don't gotta tell him. He know already. You talking about somebody that don't know. Like I don't understand you if you don't communicate. Communication. The word was communication. If
What do
they
you do
don't
about the people
communicate,
who want to hash out the conflict right then and there? And then there's people who would rather take a moment, reflect. They don't want to say anything out of anger, right?
I mean,
And
sometimes
then
that's
Mm-hmm.
right.
that fuels a lot, because some people I know, they're like, no, we're going to talk about this right now. And it's like, well,
Right
no,
now.
let's.
Yep. Don't
So like,
walk
how
away
how
from
do
you.
we figure? Because I've walked away from. I don't like to argue. I don't like
Mm,
conflict. So I shut down. Right. And then that
mm,
pisses people off
Mm-hmm.
more. They're like, I'm not getting a reaction out of you. And I'm like, I have nothing to say, because once I start, it's not gonna be nice, and I don't want to disrespect you like that. So I'm gonna be
That
silent,
part.
right?
That part.
I'm just not gonna say, if I don't have anything
That
nice to say,
part.
I'm not gonna say anything at all. So I need you to give me a minute, right?
yeah.
Because when you're in the heat of the moment, a lot of people just want to be heard. They just want their opinions heard, their side heard,
Mhm, mhm.
so they're listening to react and not listening to understand,
Okay.
right? So how do we help folks work around that when one party
Right.
thinks they're right?
Learning how to fight fair. 9 times
Yeah.
out of 10, it depends on the situation, right? To say that someone's right or wrong. But the
mm-hmm,
Mhm.
thing about being in a relationship is it
mm-hmm,
takes two. So
Right.
it all depends on what we're disagreeing about, what the conflict is. If we're having a conflict with the children, right? Let's say it's a couple that has children and you guys aren't on the same page with the
mm-hmm,
child rearing. Somebody might feel undermined. Somebody might feel like, hey, you spoil them too much. Every time I say something, you go behind my back. what are we going to do about this? Because eventually a child will get older and they'll start to be able to play those manipulative games against the parents who are supposed to be the united front.
See, fire. You're right.
So
Right.
it all depends, because 9 times out of 10, I'll say this, and I learned this a long time ago. If it's 2 people, it's communication. If it's more than 2, it's a performance. So always make sure that it's you two speaking instead of everybody else.
Chief fire. You're right.
No, that's
right.
So I could say that much. If you are gonna talk, and then let's take it a step further. If it's conflicts, we all have friends that we talk to about our business, which is cool. But are these people for us or against us?
Right.
Keep talking.
You know, can I actually call your friend or your best friend or your sister or your homeboy, your brother, and I tell them what's going on A, B, and C, and they say, "Oh, okay. Well, I'll talk to them about it," instead of saying, "Get rid of them, F them." You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Who cares about
people,
that?
There's people that deal with the biases though when they talk to their family or their friend, or it could be the situation where the homegirl's like, she want more time with her homegirl, so she's like, F that boy. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Girls trip. You know what I'm saying? Or in reverse with men. You know what I'm saying, bro? Let's get to the studio, bro. Man, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Right.
So
you're right.
It's
You're
best
right.
to keep it.
Oh my God.
Amongst and build from there. You know what I'm saying? Versus, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us, we try to get counseling from family members or friends and stuff, because you want to be able to unfold or unload sometimes. But you know what I mean? Like that's just, I don't know, just from experience, it's a disaster. It's best
I think
to kinda,
sometimes you know who to go to, though, depending on your
Right.
level of maturity, your level of accountability, and because we all got a role in every situation. Just like we can say that we like communication, but then all of a sudden we want to say, "Hey, I'm not the type that like to argue." I'm like, sometimes it's not even an argument. It's like somebody just got to shut up long enough to listen to the other person, really, and then just try to get a level of comprehension and understanding. And once you do that, from there, we can actually move and make some progress if we really trying to be on something. But again, if we had those disclaimers, the person who likes to get to the bottom of it, let's deal with it now, let's nip this in the bud, has to be the one usually that needs to shut up first. I'm only saying that from experience, because I'm like, I want to talk about it now. I don't want to go to bed mad. So I'm like, and I understand.
And here's and that's good.
But
right, that's good, because you shouldn't go to bed mad.
I shouldn't go to bed mad. So, you know, that's generally what I don't want to do. I want to have a conversation. I want it to be calm. I want it to be that. But sometimes you have that person is mad, and what you're saying is truth to them, and you're not being hurtful. You're not being disrespectful. I'm just being honest. I'm just being 100% transparent, and the truth gonna hurt no matter which way you slice it. It's supposed to. So let it do its job. And let's move the fuck on, you know. But if you feel like you're that mad that you can't accept the mirror to your own face, then go on and just let me know that. I'll let you walk off. I'll let you cool off. I'll let you go around the block a couple of times. Go have a couple of drinks. Go do that. But when it come down to you seeking advice from your friends and all that kind of stuff, I know when I want to be on some fuck shit, I know who to call. When I want to be cool and I want to have reality handed to me, and I want somebody to be transparent with me and point the mirror into my face, I know who to call. So it all depends on your mindset, your maturity at that time, and exactly what you're trying to do. We trying to fuel the flame of some nonsense, or we actually trying to make progress?
Right. Because that's the
objective. That's where the old saying comes from: pick your battles carefully.
Yes.
Pick. Because some things are not worth arguing over.
Right.
At all.
She respectful to a man. I like her though. She respectful to a man. She not like, she ain't stepping on toes, do what you do, but you gonna respect me. I like that. You know what I'm saying? No fingerprints, no evidence. I like you. What's your name? What's your over there? What's her name right there?
Her right there. Her right there. Her right there. Hey, yo, black shirt.
I like her. Y'all all going on my show. We finna, I get person. Be quiet. She's sharp. She raw. She hella raw.
Shout out to the homie Robbie, man.
Robbie.
Right.
You
The
know
turn
why
up
you
is
turn
real.
up.
The turn up is real.
Man.
I don't know, but you just like you like hella smart. I like that.
She grown. That's why.
Thank you.
Right.
We adults
I
now.
mean, because at the end of the day,
Talking
well,
to a
because here's
grown
the
ass
thing:
woman
if
right
you're
there.
right, if you're in this relationship slash marriage, assuming you're not trying to dissolve it, well, you do have to come up with a healthy way to handle conflicts. Because any couple that says, "Oh, we never argue," now they might have been together for 30 something years by this time, to where you can just tell if a person sighs a certain way. Oh, they're tired, they hungry, they're irritated. You can get to know somebody after a while. But if we're kind of fairly newlyweds, with Tyrese and his wife situation, she didn't have nobody in her ear that was campaigning for both of them,
Right.
clearly,
That's a
because
fact.
they didn't know how to resolve whatever they were going through.
Right. She had the wrong
And that's
people. Yeah,
not,
wrong
well,
ideas.
yeah,
She had the wrong
because
people.
like I said, what could be the real reasons of conflict? Okay, it might be
Elder.
a in-law or in-laws. It might be someone quitting their job and not telling the other person, or
Damn.
Yeah.
buying something,
That's more than conflict.
that. Hmm?
I
She
was
said
like,
that's more than a
damn.
conflict.
First,
That's more than a
He
conflict. I'm
pretends
gonna
he's
let
going to
you get
work every
something
day.
lined up because my stuff will be in
see,
storage.
See, here's the thing. Okay, so
see,
let's say that
conflict.
you were dealing with somebody, that man or woman, that wanted to start their own company, right? I'm miserable at my job. I hate my job. I
Me
can't
too.
stand it. And they're
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
actually good at something that they do. And then you just finally just go in there and say, you know what, I quit today. Well, damn, you didn't call me and let me know like you was going to push the button today. Because we might not have this much money saved up to be able to do that. You might not get a new job. Your
Right.
enterprise might not take off.
What's going
So the
Right.
finances, that can turn into an issue.
on?
But I'm just using that as an example, meaning, because it still goes back to the core root of communication. As long as we're communicating openly, honestly, truthfully,
Right.
not really trying to be petty and hurt each other's feelings, then you'll get to the root of the situation and go to the next, on to the next venture. But assuming,
Um.
and then,
Mhm.
as was stated earlier, going to bed angry.
Angry.
How you think you're
Yeah.
gonna wake up?
Angry.
I agree.
Mad.
It's
Yeah.
gonna fester all
But
night. You wake
but
up with
but
All
you
day.
can
All
always
day.
be
it's like
angry.
you feel it in your chest,
Yeah.
Right.
Straight up.
you
You see what
know,
I'm saying?
Not
right in
never.
your
And then and
diaphragm.
then and then what'll happen is, with that conflict, that'll trickle into your intimacy. So now you don't even want to be intimate with this person,
Oh
because we're not talking, we're not communicating. And then
Right.
if you think that's not gonna cause some stress and
I don't
some
agree with that.
frustration,
I don't agree with that.
what?
Um,
What?
Hold on, you right. She right. Keep you talk because you talk to
um,
me like hold on.
I'm just saying I don't agree with that because I'm gonna just say I was taught, I was educated, or basically it was suggested that to defuse some situations, that's the way to do it. Sometimes that's the way to actually just open up the doors. Everybody know makeup sex is the best sex, but I'm like, even if y'all mad, sometimes it's good too. So and
That
it
would
can knock the
depend
edge
on
off
the
just a little
reason of the
bit.
conflict, though.
So
Because
and
if it
then
was
I'm like, hey,
Absolutely.
y'all can have the
It's not
conversation
really a
later
conflict
sometimes and it's
because you
cool.
could like make up like, damn, baby, forgive me. We was arguing. It wasn't even that
well,
serious.
it
We
depends on
make up and we do
the
what we
extent
do.
on the argument. Because if I'm really, I'm gonna look at you like, do not breathe in my direction. But if it's something petty,
Absolutely.
I'm like, okay, sorry,
Dude,
baby, come here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have
Yeah,
that good makeup
something petty,
session.
exactly. You
but
might have been late for something, or you might have forgot something, might have said something that kind of hurt their feelings, but you can kind of get over it. But if it's something really big, oh, it's don't touch me. And then that's gonna go even worse. But don't get me wrong, yeah, you can use makeup sex, but then sometimes that might not always fix it, because the
Right,
It
it's
don't
problem
like a
might be bigger than
band-aid.
what it
it
is.
don't fix it. It's definitely a band-aid, especially if you can't have a conversation once you're done.
Mm-hmm.
If it's
dude,
just
what
off
if you
doing,
mad about
taking the
something? You
edge
ain't
off,
with the
it's like
touch
you
no
still
man.
gonna
If you mad
address
about
this.
something.
You know what I'm saying?
I
So
mean, I'm not touching no woman. If I'm mad about something, you're not gonna touch no man. If you mad about something, you're not gonna touch no man. No woman ain't gonna do that. And no man ain't gonna do that. So like he must have did something to where ain't no makeup sex. Yeah, you ain't touching him. We grown as adults.
It's
We like,
definitely
you
levels to it.
serious?
It's definitely levels
Like,
to
oh,
it. So I'm like, there's an offense, and then there's some serious ass disrespect, and I think the disrespect is where the line is drawn on both parties. Because by then, I think we can kind of take it to level 20 real fast. You know, at that point, I already know I said something horrible if I'm so mad at you that you can't calm me down by touching me, by being affectionate with me. And that's one of my love languages. No, once I'm like, get your hands off me, we good. We good.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, but it could be like a misunderstanding too. Y'all could have been at the club partying, and somebody was in the face. You was feeling yourself. He was feeling himself, and you know, don't touch me. You know what I'm saying? Or it could be that it's a disrespectful. Don't touch me. It's ways around that. You know what I'm saying? When females being their feelings versus a man just be doing him. That's all it is. It's nothing
But
different.
I beg to differ. Everybody be in their feelings, man or woman.
Everybody,
See, the difference is y'all men will try to say a woman's in her feelings, but actually when you
I've talked
react
to a lot of men
to
who
her
be in their
feelings,
feelings.
yeah, you
They
guys
be in their
you guys will
feelings.
actually get more emotional because you feel like I'm not being respected right now. That's actually
no,
being emotional.
that's a down. That's the nigga that's a low self-esteem man. They don't have nothing said I'm being disrespected. All a man want is respect. If he got a woman up under him, she gonna respect him. He ain't got to say that. You know what I'm saying? A woman that's respecting a man ain't gonna say I want a woman that's respecting me. He
And
raggedy.
in this
Yeah, I'm
hypothetical
saying you hella
scenario, is
raggedy.
this man also respecting the woman? So you're saying
But
the
a man
man
gonna
is
respect the woman
outside
that's
being
respecting
a
him.
man, all up in
Right.
defying females'
Mm-hmm.
faces,
He just
Beat,
but
being a
the minute that
beating
a
man.
on his
girl does
chest like King
it,
Kong.
Y'all
ruffling
I was here.
feathers,
Please
baby.
put some clothes on your helmets. We on the show right now. I
He
want you to
just
say
being a
this.
man.
Let me have this
It's
shit.
not gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
Put some clothes
well,
on.
the homie
Because
Charity, she
I've
I'm
walked past.
dating and I'm
Because
in
they
the homie
absolutely
Charity,
don't
she
like it
put.
if we play the same
I'm
games, you
waiting.
know?
No, I
Podcast.
get it.
I,
I follow you.
no, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna
Charity in the
right.
comments, she said, I think sex only works if you still have a connection. So
Well, that's true.
yeah, I mean, if the connection ain't there, parties ain't getting down.
What's
So
up, King?
it's not gonna go down.
It's that pass by in the kitchen. It's the laundry room moments.
Oh yeah. To where you
It's
be
like, you
looking
know,
at
just
each
like you
other
think
like
about each other, you look like,
Mm.
mm-hmm.
but again, that's on what level is that? Like 3?
I know, right?
Because once we at 20, it's gonna take a long time to come down to 3.
And that's terrible because then it's like, okay, do you make an agreement to never get it that far, to never take it that far? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay,
That's the
if someone is
conversation.
feeling like my feelings was hurt, right? I don't ever want to feel that feeling again. And then you can come to a resolution and say, okay, we're not going to do that. Like you said earlier, not going to bed angry, um, being honest about what you're talking about. Sometimes it could be as small as not even cursing at each other while you're expressing your feelings because that will heighten up the emotions. You start talking, next thing saying, when you fucking did this, hold on, hold on, hold on. Don't curse at me. Because now it's like
Right,
we're
when
going
we
to
were
be
talking
battling
about
back and
before, your
forth.
delivery.
Mm-hmm.
But that's still taking
Mm-hmm.
stuff out of context. Because I'm like, if you know your partner cuss, I'm like, until it's actually directed at you, where it's like you a stupid ass bitch or something like that, or not necessarily, you know how it is. We know the difference between those type of communications, but it's difficult when you're upset. Like, you don't want him to hit you because he shouldn't hit you. You don't want him to necessarily storm out. So it's like, where's that middle ground for actual communication? You got to understand, I'm upset. You're upset. You're speaking at me with a certain type of tone. You're taking a certain type of body language and position. And sometimes you just got to let somebody get something off their chest the way they need to get it off. We don't necessarily, and again, that's expectation because you're expecting that person to communicate with you in a certain manner when they're pissed off. You really can't tell people how to be. You know what I'm saying? Just as you know, there's some people, you piss them off, they're going to go get a gun, they ain't going to fight you. Then you got some people that's going to fight you. Then you got some people that's going to cuss you out. And sometimes
Or call the
you got
police.
people that's just going to cuss. You know, not necessarily cuss at you, but I am using some very strong adjectives and some very strong, you know, words to express myself, but there's other things that I would rather do. Now, normally I would walk away, I would shut down, but you want me here to communicate with you. Let me communicate. And then again, somebody just has to be the one to sit down and be quiet for a little bit. Let that person get it off their chest. The longer you sit silent, think if you've ever worked a customer service position and you have somebody on your phone and you know you can't hang up and that person just going off in your ear, what we do? Go silent.
Yeah.
And then eventually they're going to either calm down, hang up, or you just basically, you probably win in the silence. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you got to
That's
let
usually
somebody,
what de-escalates it anyway.
Yeah,
so,
it de-escalates the situation. But it's like somebody always has to learn how to be quiet. That's the point of the communication. We think communication
always
is all
say
of us
that
just yelling back and forth.
If I'll recognize, as a man, I'll recognize if I'm wrong. I'll shut the fuck up. Straight up. I'll excuse my language, but I'll be quiet. You know what I'm saying? If I'm wrong. But if I'm right, I'm going to stand on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to stand on it because I know I'm right. You know what I'm saying? And I think also what creates situations or conflicts in a relationship is just like we've been, it sounds to me like all these examples, it rolls into the idealism of just lack of communication and learning your partner. So,
or not understanding how to properly channel your feelings or anger. Really,
a lot of people, I think that a lot of people get into
struggle with
relationships.
that.
Well, people get into relationships on the idea of like, oh, I like this person, oh, I love this person, oh man, I you know what I'm saying? And then within a certain time period, things start getting real. But you are so caught up in that whole idealism of I love this person, I love being with this person, and then real life starts setting in, you know.
Yeah, you can't be delusional.
And you know, when stuff's not right within certain people, you know how they say you always take it out on the person closest to you, right? And that's something that I've had to learn how to reel it in, like, you know, being a former brat, if you will. If I'm mad, everybody's gonna be mad. If I'm pissed off, you're gonna be pissed off too. I don't even care. But like you have to learn how to regulate that, right? And just because life is not going the way that you wanted, or your job isn't going the way you wanted, or you had a shitty ass day, the last person you should take it out on is your partner.
Yeah, as the person that you can't
why
take.
would you want to hurt your partner? Why'd you want to
exactly, especially when they're doing right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
especially when they're doing right.
They're like, damn.
You know? Yeah, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Gang banging on breakfast.
Okay.
Charity in the comments, she said, in a grown relationship, both parties need to know their limits and their partner. Example, my partner knows I need time to process and know he needs verbal reassurance, but we give each other grace.
Give him the grace.
That's important. The grace.
Grace is very important.
Yeah. And then sometimes that grace comes just by what's going to be the line, just shutting the fuck up. Somebody got to do it. Somebody got to do it. It's almost like you got to go back to that old school kindergarten thing, like who got the talking cup? You know what I'm saying? If you ain't got the cup, shut the fuck up. I mean, we can just say that. That could be like a new little tool, but I'm like, a lot of us don't really learn those ways of communication because that's not the example that was presented to us. A lot of us are learning how to communicate and how to actually avoid conflict or even move in conflict based off losses that we've experienced or just life in general. You know, sometimes we got to grow up. And if we're not able to grow with that individual in our way of communicating and avoiding conflict and all that, then it's like sometimes it's just not going to work out. And then that also needs to be another thing that's communicated as well. Sometimes you just can't resolve the damn conflict.
That's why I can't be in a relationship. I'm not ready to not be selfish. I'm happy being stress-free, not having to worry about anybody else's feelings right now.
I mean,
it's hard. It's teamwork. It's hard work being in a relationship.
It is. It really is. And it takes work. It takes patience. It takes forgiveness. It takes a whole lot.
So I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play this video real quick. I just want to just see if we can, something I found online a little bit earlier, and I just want to get some feedback from you guys on how you guys, what you guys get from this video. I'm gonna set it up real quick. I'm trying to create some space here on here. Hold on one second. Here we go.
Disagreement is acceptable. Disrespect is not. So my thing is, yes, it's okay and even healthy to have disagreements because we have different perspectives. We can bounce ideas off each other. We simply have to know how to navigate that and come to an official decision on things when we have those moments. But arguing says we are being disrespectful, whether our tone is negative, the words that we're using, there's nothing healthy about that. But a lot of people will say that because they want to validate the unhealthiness in their relationship. They don't want to face the issue of, I need to learn how to talk to my partner better. Why do I have to watch what I say? Because that's what an adult does. We can't just think it's okay, especially with our partners, to speak however we want, to throw all kinds of insults, to be disrespectful and think this is okay. Because what people are not realizing is all it takes is that one really bad argument to plant a seed of negativity that now grows into something worse in the relationship.
All right. I can't play the whole
happened
video,
with that?
you know what I'm saying? I you know what I'm saying? I can't play the whole video. That was about a minute.
Like,
I just want y'all to kind of.
you know what he's saying. You know what he's
I
saying.
didn't even hear what he said.
You didn't hear what he said at all?
Not at all. All
You
I
didn't
seen
hear
was
it?
no.
Oh damn! All right. Well, that kind of
It's
backfired.
all
I mean,
right, but I'm just saying. I'm like,
I mean, he was just
what's going
pretty
on
much.
that side?
I
I
mean,
know who that is. That's Anton Speaks.
okay. But you didn't hear.
But
You didn't hear what you didn't hear the message at all.
Well,
nope.
It
I
was
absolutely
blank.
agree. For me, respect is very, very big for me. And the minute that I feel disrespected, all the disrespect will come through, and I cannot be with somebody that takes me to that level. And the
Yeah.
minute that I lose respect for a man, I have no problem leaving because it ain't no coming back from that. I don't know if it's because I hold grudges. I'm gonna keep repeating that same disrespect moment in my head, and I'm never gonna be able to look at you the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I
because
haven't
they say you're
processed
not gonna
that.
re-respect nobody.
Yeah, there's no takesies backsies with that. You said what you
Yeah.
said. Stand on it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like whether you
Mm-hmm.
said it out in anger,
I
you
think.
still said it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah.
have enough respect for you to not get at you like that. So for you to feel like you're comfortable enough to disrespect me like that, I cannot see you in the same light. You
Yeah.
know,
Right.
not
Yeah.
near.
I mean,
It is
respect
what
is
it is.
always big. Respect is very, very vital. It's very important. In any relationship that you have, respect comes first. But in some cases, there are those individuals that um, they're not even respecting themselves in the relationship, meaning themselves like they're not being the best that they can be in a relationship,
Well, I
which
think when it
puts a
boils
lot of
down to it, if you feel that you could talk, it's your problems internally that you're
yeah,
struggling with, you know what
yeah,
I mean? If you're
Mm-hmm.
laughing it
Your
off like
upbringing and
that,
everything else.
you have demons
right,
inside you gotta work through, you know what I'm
That was
right,
on my
saying?
right, right,
list too, unhealed trauma.
yeah,
Mhm.
Because I think you could take trauma from childhood, trauma from your most previous relationship. It could be anything. You know what I'm saying? It
facts,
could just be
facts,
life and the hell out of life.
yeah,
And sometimes we move too quick. Sometimes people move in a form of security. If we even go back to what we were talking about with the circle that you surround yourself with,
mm,
sometimes instead of you moving in a circle, you decide to make a lateral move instead of
mm,
pausing. And sometimes we need to pause. We need to deal with some things. We need to have a moment of reflection. We need to
mm-hmm,
literally identify our role in every single situation
mm-hmm,
we're ever in, because
right,
sometimes we are a part of the problem. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's
yeah,
not that other person and their lack of communication and their disrespect, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes
Talking.
it's that
Oh,
it's
you're
that I
fired.
feel type of
Wait,
situation
wait, wait.
sometimes where we
Hold
let
on
our
on this
emotions
show.
kind of
Hold on.
rule the
Let me
reality.
just say something real quick.
Because again, another level of
Hold on, bring this.
communication
I'm
is
on the
that
show,
unspoken
podcast.
communication.
yeah,
Hey,
Actions
I'll
yeah,
speak
say
yeah,
do
this.
speak louder than words, and sometimes that person is showing you everything that they're never going to communicate to you, and sometimes you just got to take it for what it is.
Big weed. Hey, it all go back to your mama. If she didn't train you, ain't nothing else to be said. If you didn't
Well,
see your
no, it goes
dad
back
as
to the
daddy
mama
and
and
mama
the
was
daddy.
telling
You
you
can't
that.
just you can't you
Just
can't leave
blame the
that on
mama.
just the you can't
No,
leave
no,
that
no,
on the
no, no.
mama.
Your mama, if your mama didn't train you right or show you how to be a woman, you don't got a communication with your mama, you got a problem.
Well,
And
my
that's
mama
all.
didn't
Look,
train me right, and I learned on my own
here,
from personal experience. So maybe that was my
Honestly, but
problem.
it's
I
like, but
do
if you
attribute,
learning from somebody else's experience, you know what I'm
you
saying?
know,
Your parents are teaching
and
you according to what
you
they know.
don't
So
blame
a
it on
lot
your
of
mama,
stuff
but
you're gonna
I
it's
don't
a
learn
blame
by
my
reason
mama
why
for
how you
anything.
operate. Because all you see with your mama operated how to a man.
I know my problem
So
was I was
so
never
so
disciplined as a child, so
communication.
that was
If your
that was
mama
where my
didn't
problem
communicate
started.
with that man,
Right.
how she
Miko said
communicated
I
how to
wasn't
you
told
grow.
no.
All you know is what your mama showed
it's
you.
like, what does that
And you
mean?
can learn
I had
from
to
you
learn.
can learn from where you came from, But at the same time, you all you know is what you seen. That's go on religion.
I mean,
Did
you
you
are
say
gonna go
religion
on
and
what
your
you've
mama?
seen,
You know what I'm saying?
but the thing
Like the
is,
man, like the man, same way. How the man was taught by a man, and all he knows how to treat a woman. If he wasn't taught how to treat a woman, he ain't gonna know how to understand how to treat a woman. It's the same situation, communication. If a man don't know communication, if his mom and daddy wasn't in a household, he ain't gonna know communication. Don't knock that man. Leave that man alone. Stop knocking.
That
You know
part,
what
leave
I'm
that
saying?
man
Women,
alone.
so,
He ain't
oh,
for
he
Leave
you.
him
supposed to
Stop
be
alone.
trying
his
to
We're
man.
not gonna
Or
leave him
she supposed
alone
to
and
be,
let him just
no.
act the fool
not gonna
though.
for
But
you.
we gonna leave him
No.
alone because at certain points in life,
No. You
I'm like, you
can't.
know,
It go both ways.
once
There
you
goes
get
that
to
no word.
40, I'm like at
right?
certain ages, you learn how to do whether your mama or daddy is there or not. There are certain aspects of life that you deem you need to learn. And sometimes you just need to learn how to communicate. I think at this point, information is free, ignorance is a choice at
Let
this
me
point.
ask y'all this question. Hey, look, my boy just asked me this. If a man was raised by his mama, should he be more sensitive to a woman?
See,
No.
you got to look
If
at
a
it from this
man was
aspect.
raised by a
What type of
woman,
mother
I was
does he
raised by
have?
a woman.
Yeah, it depends on
I
his
love
mama.
women. I only got a number of girls.
Okay, but see, you might. There's some men that have mothers with abrasive personalities.
Raised with no dad, and he just got his mama. Is he more sensitive to a woman than he would be if he had a dad in his life?
If he had a
That's not been
strong
my
No,
experience
relationship
with
with his
those kind of
mom.
men.
yeah, because
It
you
depends
could
on
have
the
a
man, it
father who
depends on the
has a
mama.
Y'all
right.
hear
It
me?
depends on your parents. It has
I
nothing
mean,
to do with the
like,
gender.
think about like me. I
Yeah,
had
it
a
really
daddy and a
doesn't.
mama, but my mama raised me. So I know how a woman struggle versus a man struggle, but I struggle as a man. But if I don't understand you, you're mad. You gotta tell
Thank
her.
you, Shar. Say
Sometimes you
that.
gotta tell a person if you don't but at the same, but it's a gray area because I hear a motherfucker saying now because they gotta understand at the same time too. We all do as men, women. We gotta understand too, but it go back to your upbringing, your mom and your daddy, your root. I'm gonna go back to the
Right?
root.
I mean,
You don't gotta have no daddy and no
Charity
mama. It
said
go
it
back
really
to your
well.
root, what you was taught, what you know,
She said
and you
growth
can't.
as an
And the
adult is your personal responsibility. You
Because
can't
it
put
is.
that on parenting. That kind
Absolutely.
of sums that up right
No, you
there.
can't because there's
I
some things
learned
that
more
you have
about
to
raised by this
unlearn.
everything in life, just in
Yes.
general.
You know what I'm saying? So
You know what
what
I'm
do you
saying?
guys
Like
think?
when I see everything in life, I learned about everything in life.
What you guys think on some positive
Okay,
things
y'all.
to
Let me ask
help?
y'all. I'll leave it alone.
Go ahead, Robbie.
Y'all
What's up?
see people. Do you expect a person to understand what you're doing? No, nobody can do that. None of us
No,
can
because
do that. Like,
nobody's a
he
mind
better
reader, and you're
understand
not
what
supposed to
I'm doing.
expect
Oh,
that.
he good, but he better, or she good, she better. No, nobody is not taught or what you've been through.
So
Everybody been through
this show here
everything
is
differently.
changing narrative. We trying to figure out a way because we spent 30
Do you
plus
learn
minutes talking
more
about the
from being
negative
raised by a woman
ramifications of it. Uh,
alone, or do you learn more being raised by both?
mute, bro.
I learned
Bro
about
out.
being raised by a woman more than being raised by both, but I was raised by both.
So check this out.
But your daddy give you game on.
Let's switch the topic around to where you know what I'm saying. Robbie, you got to mute bro out, bro. Um, let's start. Let's navigate towards more of the positive on what we could do to make it right. You know what I'm saying, and some pointers to make things right
But
in a relationship.
your father may
Accountability is
not.
going to be number one.
Right, right.
It,
Self-awareness first
And
500
awareness,
Okay.
points.
definitely, because you're not even going to be accountable if you're not aware that there's an
Yes.
issue. I think people need to be more receptive of dealing with the hard truth and actually wanting to change and wanting to grow, because you can't keep beating a dead horse. You know, everybody wants to
Exactly.
have a certain level of respect and wants to reach a certain level of maturity. I think we all at some point recognize that even if we are saying, hey, my parents never taught me this, and we are saying that, hey, my friends haven't been the best influence on me, at some point you have to grow and you just have to take responsibility literally for yourself.
Yeah.
And sometimes even people who are just in the moment by themselves are never going to come to the point where they take accountability or responsibility for their role, whether they even seek growth, therapy. It's so many resources and opportunities to be a better individual out there. And a lot of people don't want to take those things. But I think the important part, again, is when you experience a great loss to yourself, or to your family, or your dynamic of life changes because of the way that you are and how you communicate, then sometimes you have no choice but to deal with yourself. And in those moments, I hope you grow. I hope you do seek wise counsel. I hope you do seek therapy. I hope you do realize that, hey, I do still have some issues towards my mama not being there or my daddy not being there. My mama didn't handle relationships well. She wasn't the greatest role model. My daddy wasn't the greatest role model. He told me some bad things that really didn't add up to anything great in my life. But I got an opportunity to do something else. So I think people need to kind of pause a little bit and look for those opportunities to grow, because I believe that, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it, God gives us an opportunity every single day, every single sunrise, to see something different.
Every
And we
day is
don't
a new
have to
day.
end. I ain't got to end
Yes.
today how I ended yesterday. You know what I'm saying? I have an opportunity to be a better individual. Like, no matter how horrible I am, I'm like, the greatest thing I could say about God is what you did 15 seconds ago really don't matter to him. You know what I'm saying? Because he already knew that you was going to do it. And I think if we just look forward to being better, that's really just going to be the root of everything being better. That's
I
it.
want to piggyback off what she said when she said pause, right? I think in relationships, with everything, everyday life, parenting, work, money issues, yada, 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 right? We all tend to get into tunnel vision. But when you're in a partnership, right, sometimes you have to pause and reflect and remember why you're with this person, right? And that's what, if it's somebody worth it, then it's worth working it out for.
Right.
And learning how to navigate those conflicts and realizing when, pick and choose your battles, and understanding each other in that aspect. It's really important to just remember, ground yourself, really, because you can get so caught up in the outside world. Social media is poisoning you, outside factors poisoning you. You got people trying to infiltrate, poisoning you. You got all these stressful factors, right? And we tend to lose and go into tunnel vision, and it could take you to a really dark place. But when you have a really solid partnership, that should be the one person you should go to. And it's just all remembering that you really do love each other.
Right. Right. Remind us why we're here.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think, assuming, assuming everyone still likes each other during this
Trying times.
relationship,
Right.
right?
At the end of it all.
A
I don't like
good
you right
thing to do, right? I don't like you right now. And I usually see that as we're all just adults, but we're little kids in adults' bodies. It's
And
like, I
then
don't want to play with you right now, right? I don't want to play with you right now.
Right.
I don't want to do this with you. So sometimes it does take saying, yeah, pause. Sometimes it does say, give me a hug first before we start talking. Sometimes it might take for you to sit there and be in each other's arms and just pause for a little bit so you can remind each other. Because if you're loving each other, you don't want to let that go. Because it's never that serious, right? Usually never really that serious outside of, I mean, I don't want to go there because it's not too many, well, because, it's not too many things that can't be taken care of. You know what I mean? If you are talking. Now, assuming that everybody's healthy, that form of affection, if that is that person's love language, if it's not, if they need words of affirmation, we'll blend that together. Give me a hug. Let's talk first. Sometimes sit down over a meal and have the conversation. Because just sitting here, just talking, and you're not able to, I mean, they say psychologically you're able to have a better conversation when you are talking over a meal.
Yep.
So, hey, let's sit down and not have no alcohol or drinks. Let's sit down and have dinner and talk, or I've known people who, before they have conversations, they actually went to go take a shower together. Could lead to, that good, make up something, something. But this one particular guy said he felt soothed by the water. It calmed him down. It calmed down his emotions. Then he was ready to talk. So I feel like if you go through certain fields of saying, hey, well, the person says I don't like confrontation. Okay, well, confrontation is going to be inevitable. It is. It is. But it's a way of how you're going to navigate through it. So if you guys have ways of saying, okay, well, let's fight fair, because really, you're not supposed to fight with each other. You guys are supposed to fight the outside world. So as long as you know, I can't fight my teammate. I'm not here to fight you. I'm not here to win the war against you. We gotta win the war together, and it's not us. So I think going with that in mind, the open communication, the honest communication, not necessarily being rude, being petty. Don't get me wrong. Hey, if you gotta say, look, motherfucker, this is what I said. All right, cool. It's nothing personal, right? If you gotta do a couple little curse words, right? But then I can say this. Sometimes women don't want to be cursed at by a man.
I
That can
think it's
kind of
rude.
trigger us. Damn, who the
Yeah,
fuck you
it's
talking
not
to?
cool.
And then
Yeah,
it'll,
it's not cool.
right? So sometimes don't curse when the conflict is coming. Take the time out, take a walk, go in nature. Whatever it is that you guys need to do to first calm down. And then if you are going to use outside help, whether it's a counselor, whether it is your friends, a family member, make sure that it's someone that you guys trust, that you know is rooting for both of you guys. Not
Right.
saying I never liked her, I never liked him, any mother. You know what I'm saying? You want somebody that's going to say, now, girl, you know you love him. Stop playing. Well, what was the big deal? You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it'll be a petty argument that goes all the way to the left.
Right.
I've
And
talked to
now,
friends that they're like, I don't even remember why we were mad. I'm like, girl, well, the
right,
hello.
right, right. And then
Look,
and here's the thing. And sometimes the conflict can be because we haven't been sexually intimate. Get a little something, something. You like, you know what? We was tripping. You know what I'm
As
saying?
I said,
We was real.
I
We
just
was
get it,
really
my bad,
tripping.
baby.
as I said,
Right, right. You know what I'm saying? And then you can come reel it back in, reel in the crazy. I used to always use this saying, control your crazy, control your crazy. Because sometimes, if you know where a person's thought comes from, if they have two loving parents or two parents that cohabitated and they love each other, then you know that it's possible that they got it in them. Some
Yeah.
things you do gotta unlearn from your family that was not healthy, that you're not
Two
supposed to bring
things.
into the next
I
relationship.
want to touch on that. When you're talking about parents, right? A lot of us, we don't understand until we're older and we go
Right.
through, marriage or childbirth or, parenthood,
Mm-hmm.
that you realize that your parents were just growing up just like you're
Right.
trying to learn yourself too, right? So holding certain things against your parents really isn't fair.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know what they were doing. Was it
At
fair that
all.
they were irresponsible? No. You know what I
Right,
mean? But
right, right.
at the
And
end
they
of the
might not
day,
have
you
had
have
the
to,
best
yeah.
support.
Yeah, definitely
Mm-hmm.
not. But it's funny touching on the other subject, when I be talking to somebody, I'm like, look, you got 2 more days before I'm gonna start an argument for no reason. You don't come over here. So lack of intimacy for me is really important.
But
Ooh,
that
start
can cause a
that.
conflict. It really can,
Yeah.
because
It,
a lot of the times, if you have a sexy and healthy sex life, right?
yeah.
A lot of the problems won't be that bad, because assuming that you know each other, you are supportive of one another, you are talking to each other, and like I said, you are checking in with each other, giving each other hugs, because that really does go a long way. It really does. Because some people might be, oh, I don't like to be touched. Well, shit, how did you get with that person?
right.
Now all
Not
of a
in
sudden
that
we
way.
together and you don't like to be touched?
Yeah.
Come on
You can
now,
do everything else, but don't hug me.
right? So,
Don't hold
but
my hand. Don't do that.
I mean, you're right, and it's like, hold on, where did all that come from? That it's not making any sense. So, I think that you have to think about what it is that you are arguing about. If it's something really, really, really big, you might have to
But
go to
what's
your
what's big
respective
to one
corners at
person may
first.
not be big to another person. But I'm like, after everything everyone's saying, it's a lot of solutions that are out there for, building healthy communication, building healthy
Mm-hmm.
relationships. Everything really
Mm-hmm.
comes down to a choice. And so what it's all going to, boil down to, do you choose to love me and get to know me in a different way? I think a lot of people don't really, grace is a very good word to use during this time. We don't give each other grace to grow. We don't give each other grace to really truly understand one another.
They don't get
Sometimes we
past the
do get,
superficial level.
yeah, it's like we get over, we're so attuned to the fact that I'm attracted to you that
Right.
we don't really think like I'm attracted to this about you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
I'm more attracted to a person's intellect than I am physically to that individual, you know, and that's a different type of relationship. It doesn't necessarily have to be a sexual partnership type of relationship, but any relationship that I have with somebody, um, there's healthy ways to have that. I think if you have a partner, a spouse, whoever you're with, who you share your body with, I think if you can take in the fact that you are literally sharing your body with an individual, you should be able to have a conversation. And
Right.
sometimes I think one of the more important things and things I've learned, I think I could just share since we're moving in a positive. I'm going to say I was in relationships for 20 some odd years. And when you jump in relationships at a certain period and point of your life, again, you're unlearning some things, right? When you reach a certain
Mm-hmm.
point, because sometimes you have no choice but to unlearn some things, because again, you're going to have some moments by yourself. And it just really
Absolutely.
depends on how you choose to maximize that solitude. A lot of times you can really just do a reflection like, hey, damn, I wonder if this conversation would have went different if I would have said it like this. Maybe, you know,
Right.
I heard him saying that he didn't feel supported. He didn't feel like I had his back, but I was thinking the way that I was doing it was having his back, but I never took the time to ask, okay, how can I support you? But I'm thinking
Right.
because I'm sitting up here letting you be in the studio for 12, 15 hours a day, I'm supporting you. But what else would you like me to do? I didn't know you would want me to come up with marketing. I didn't know you would want me to come up with media. It's all that kind of stuff. But again, I
Mm-hmm.
learned that you learn backwards and you live forward. You know, it's just like with everything, we don't really understand what's going on ahead of us. That's why we don't know how to communicate with one another. That's why we don't know that we really got it at each other in a real foul way. And you realize sometimes you have conversations with some of your exes, and then you could finally be like, you know what?
We was tripping.
You used to say this about me, whoop, 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 that I used to interrupt you
Mm-hmm.
too much when you was talking and you was trying to get your thoughts out. I always interrupted you and I never listened to you. And I always thought you was just shutting me down and cutting me off. You know, and then you finally learn, nigga, I really do be interrupting people when they be talking, you
Right.
know? So
Right.
it's
Right.
like,
Right.
you finally come, it's like, but you learn later. So it's like, what I wish people would really receive is people saying, hey, I was in a relationship. I might have lost the best thing that ever happened to me. Why? Because I couldn't shut up. Because I couldn't just acknowledge that that person needed to get it off their chest. That quiet person who says that they normally don't communicate got pissed off and went off on me. And instead of me letting them
Mm-hmm.
finally get it out, I took offense to the fact that he said, fuck that shit. He didn't say nothing
Right.
disrespectful to me, but he said
Right.
fuck. And so I'm mad and I didn't want to hear nothing he had to say. And you might have lost a real one. Just
I'm
Right.
because
sorry,
you didn't want to be
what?
Right.
quiet.
Do we see this comment? Daddy's
Oh my God.
home.
Mm-hmm.
What do
Here we
you
go.
mean? Why are we being silly
Right.
Here we
gooses?
go.
Don't be
I don't
silly
Oh.
think it's
goofies.
ever.
Slap your
I don't think
spouse.
it's ever
In the
appropriate to slap your
bedroom
spouse.
when she asked
Okay,
for
yeah,
it.
Hello.
yeah, she asked for it.
Hello.
Yeah,
Right. Hello.
if she asked for it, daddy's home.
Okay. Yeah.
Sometimes that scares
Let's
them. Whatever.
let's keep that real. Cause last
Shout
time
out
I
to my
checked, it's
boy
called keep your hands to
LLV.
yourself.
Straight up,
For
man. What?
real.
Yeah, yeah, straight up. Shout out to my boy Graphic. Shout out to my bro. Thank you, bro. Um, uh, Twyla said that's real talk. So you know what I'm saying. I mean, so in the synopsis, I really think that it's very important to have communication. You know what I mean?
And
I
grace,
think
as we've been saying for
and
the
grace.
night.
Yeah, it was said. Charity said that in the comments too. Like and
That's a
just
good one.
yeah, grace and communication. You know what I'm saying? So
And
daddy's
don't
home.
take, but also don't take out the affection of it. Because sometimes you might have to
Right.
start the conversation with, I love you and we need to work this out. We need to come to an understanding.
Right.
Hey, I'm not against you. I'm
Right.
for us.
Right.
So if you
Exactly.
started off positive, then we could get to the gist of it. But if
Side
it's just
note,
coming in with your dukes up, bobbing and
Yeah.
weaving, it's gonna be a problem.
when I come
And
across
that's
really aggressive, abrasive people, I always wonder, I'm like, dang, either this person wasn't hugged enough as a child or you're not being hugged
right.
enough now.
It's like, who
Like,
hurt
you need
you?
some love. Yes, who hurt you? Why are you so
Right.
angry and hurt? You're not
Yep.
okay. We just what the
Yep.
world now is love, baby. We just got
I
love one
think that's
another.
it. But even like to identify that, that's a level of maturity. Like, life
Mm-hmm.
has life. Once you experience a certain type of thing, like I understand why this person was always so damn mean, or I understand why this
Yep.
person
Yep.
was
Yeah.
so resistant to other people. It's because they've been through something. And I think, again,
Mhm.
that takes maturity, but that also takes,
Mm-hmm.
because if I can identify it was something that I used to deal with myself, normally you can
Right.
kind of call those things out that you've either grown from or healed from, or you realize it's probably, a struggle with you.
Mm-hmm. Or need to be healed from, because it's like you said earlier, hold yourself accountable. Hold yourself accountable for your actions. Hey, you know what? I was out of line for that. Get out your ego sometimes,
Yeah.
because
Ooh,
it's
That
not
part.
one person, it's two, and
Mhm.
two become one. So get out your ego. And like I said, hey, it's us, not just you.
Right.
Hey, we're in this together. So you
Right.
want to make it to where it's healthy. Exactly. You don't, to me, I'm not going to say that it's not work, and I don't want to say that it's hard. I'm going to say that it's challenging, that it can be challenging. And the more that you want to put in the work, to be fair, to be open, to be honest, to listen. Because sometimes you just shut down and say, I'm all ears. I'm listening. Or like you said earlier, hold the conch, or here you got the mic. However it goes, we give each other a certain
peace
time, but
pipe. That's what it
right, that's
is.
the
You really got the
right.
mic.
That's the respect level comes in from. Have that meal together, and or whatever it needs, but come in with it with the mindset of, we're in this together, and we're trying to work through it
Mm.
so we can move forward, not
Right.
backwards.
Right.
So that's what I would think being, is a good way to be able to solve conflict in a healthy manner. And then, like I said, and if you have to involve other people, if other people need to be involved in what's going on, make sure that everybody's rooting for you guys, not against you guys.
That's important. I think everybody should also read the 5 love languages, because I think
Mm.
that's an important, and I mean, if you don't want to read it, the audiobook is only like 3.5 hours, but it's necessary. You don't even have to listen for the full 3 hours. You really kind of do
Skim
get the
through it.
gist. And I think it's important
Yeah.
to know that these things actually exist and they actually
Mhm.
apply to all of us, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody wants words of affirmation. Everybody wants physical touch. Everybody wants
Yep.
all the gifts, you want all of the stuff that comes with that, because that's just who we are. That's really our emotional state and kind of how we deal with things. And I would say everybody pick it up, because a lot of people not going to go to therapy. A lot of people don't think they need
Right.
it. A lot of people not going to go to counseling. A lot of people don't have friends or have a circle that's mature enough to tell them, like you said, that they're for the union. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people don't even recognize that their closest friends are really speaking against them, while y'all
All the
having pillow
time.
talk, and you telling somebody up here having pillow talk about you too, and they up here spewing curses at your relationship. So sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you got to know when to shut up. If that's not cute,
Right.
we got to shut up, extend grace, and then, hopefully evolve. But please read the five
Right.
love languages if I do a plug for that book. But I mean, it's a good one.
It's
I
all
mean,
right.
it
Plug
teaches
it,
you a
girl.
lot
Plug
about
it, girl,
yourself.
because they need it.
They do.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, because we're trying to keep these relationships together and not apart.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Right. That's how we change the narrative. I want to thank y'all. I know we had tonight was an interesting night.
It's fun.
It was
I had fun.
interesting.
It's
Get
always
Right.
interesting on
get
the Change the
speakers
Narrative
and stuff.
podcast. Shout out to my Dave Robbie. I had to kick him off though, bro. Like, no disrespect to my brother. That's my brother and everything, but I had to knock him off the
It's all right. It's all
Your
right.
laugh.
He might be ready next time.
Yeah,
Next
next
time.
time, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna have a conversation, man. You know what I'm saying? That's my brother, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? Um,
Mm-hmm.
is there any last words before we wrap this up tonight?
Oh, I think I said what I said. You know,
Yeah, I learned a
keep
lot,
it
you know what
keep,
I'm
keep it
saying?
together.
Just
Yeah.
move with peace and love. That's my
Peace and
motto.
love.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm
No,
Peace and
I get
love.
yeah.
it. No,
Treat
I
others
get
how
it.
you want to be treated.
Yeah, that's
And
a
I think
fact.
Okay.
everybody needs to really look up the definition of grace and understand how powerful that is. I like
Yeah,
that word,
Mm-hmm.
grace. I like that.
yeah.
Whatever
Shout
you
out to
put out
Mm-hmm.
Grace.
into the universe bounces back to you. So
I'm
just
That's
telling
real
you.
talk.
And
peace and
sometimes,
love.
silence is golden. So if you do need to take some time,
Shut the
You
fuck
know,
up.
like they say, if you don't have nothing good to say, don't say nothing. And sometimes you can actually say that. Like, you know what? I don't have nothing good to say right now, so I'm shutting down. And I'll reconvene later, right?
And sometimes we gotta respect the fact that sometimes people ain't gonna say that.
That too.
Just don't have that
That too.
expectation. You gotta understand sometimes that walk away is enough. You gotta understand that shutdown is enough. And sometimes you gotta learn, again, you shut up too. Don't go poking the bear. You know,
right.
just
right.
No, that's fine.
Pick your battles carefully.
Straight up. Well, I want to wrap this up. Great. I love y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? Nico, what'd you say?
I said wrap it up. Wrap this up.
Yeah. See, I'm a couple
all off.
So make sure that you hit that like button, that subscribe, comment. I appreciate everybody in the chat. I appreciate everybody watching. I appreciate everybody participating on the show.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys tuning in and your comments.
Yeah, we appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Every Thursday we're going to do this. So, you know, on that note, man, one love, peace. Y'all have a blessed evening.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.
I did the beat.